It's which word of the day?
Yay!
Today's word is Pleiades.
Oh, it sounds naughty.
Pleiades. Interjection. In Greek mythology, Pleiades is a constellation in the sky made from all the 7 daughters of Atlas. However, in this context, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the anime Fairy Tail. In this anime, Pleiades is a signature move of heavenly body magic. In this, a user shouts the word Pleiades, and 6 rays of light fall from the sky to attack the user's target in consecutive fashion.
Ooh.
And so heavenly body magic in that anime is like gives you the power of all the various astronomical objects and meteors and constellations and stars, and you can do all that stuff and use the energy out of your body.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published material in the Charmed universe and decide how it fits into the grand narrative of the TV series. Welcome to Words of the Witches, episode 55. And I'm your resident Charmed resource.
And I'm Sean. I just love comic books.
Today, we're going to be talking about the Heir up there.
Up there.
Oh, the up there's the upper regions of my sphincter.
Oh.
I don't know where that came from. I mean, that's what you said it was. You said it was butt stuff, so I guess it makes sense. We're in a wacky start, but it's okay. We have some poll results from last time.
I like how you looked at me waiting for me to make a poll joke, but I didn't. I'm being better.
Better than before. No. Do you remember what the poll was?
About 7 inches? No, I don't.
It was the one for if someone hurt someone you love, would you prefer diplomatic justice or painful revenge? So, how would you guesstimate this would go? What do you think people said?
I think more people are going to say painful revenge.
Well, you are correct, but only barely. It only won. It's 53% by 3 votes on Instagram.
Wow.
So 47% said diplomatic justice with 20 votes, and then 23 people voted for painful revenge.
Interesting.
So it was really close. I remember one time I looked, it was 50-50. So crazy. In Twitter, painful revenge won again, but it was a little bit more significant. 58% versus 42%. So, and Nathan Lightwood says, I always try for a peaceful approach first, but sometimes that doesn't work, and you got to get some sweet revenge instead.
I wonder if he's Batman.
Maybe. But today, let's get into our comic silence! I almost forgot to say it. Here now, the words of the witches. The Heir Up There was published March 2nd, 2011, written by Paul Ruditis, and we have artwork by Marcio Abro, inside artist, because he did 2 issues before this, and this is his last issue.
Aww.
So, like Dave Hoover, who only did 3, Marcio only did 3. And the reason why I found this out, they quit. Both of them quit for the same reason, because they were not paid by Zenescope.
Oh.
So, and I'm starting to think that maybe Zenescope was not the easiest people to work for.
Maybe they were friends with Haim Saban.
Maybe. Yeah. Taking the easy way. So, but yeah, so we're going to see another artist come in next issue again. It's the artwork will change again.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, this one was Marcio Abro again. We have 2 covers, actually 3 covers. Cover A is the one with Piper and Leo that you explained last time. But what's funny is this is very much inspired by an Alyssa Dex promo picture for season 8.
I saw it, and Phoebe's even wearing that color shirt in the promo picture.
Yeah, both of them are wearing the same colors. He's wearing, because Dex was wearing that white shirt, and Phoebe was wearing this, and and the thing is, I was debating if I should do like You Look Familiars for the covers. I wasn't including the covers in those because I just assumed that the covers would automatically take from those types of things. Because we've seen them in the past that a lot of these covers had promo pictures or things taken. It's just a given. But yeah, I just like to point it out anyway. It's sweet. They're holding each other. Oh, and cover A, of course, was by David Seidman, obviously. And then cover B is by Rodin Escoejo.
Bless you.
Yeah, and that I don't like it so much. The art is like a little funky.
Yeah, I agree. Especially Paige. Out of the 3, she's like not great.
Yeah. But they're sitting at a dinner table, dining room, just like talking like girls do, having a ladies' night. It's funny. They have a table with candles and wine and plates, but no food. And no food in sight, and no food, like even an inkling to come on.
They haven't imagined it yet, Kevin. They have to imagine.
Right. There you are, Peter. But yeah, and then in the background you see like demons outside the window, like ready to attack.
Yeah.
There was a cover C for Emerald City Comic Con that was exclusive, and it's just like season 4 promo picture with like a public market. So ta-da!
Ta-da!
Then this was colored by Milan Parvanov, letters by Jim Campbell, edited by Ralph Tedesco, Raven Gregory, and Paul Ruditis. We had 3 editors of this issue for some reason.
Wow.
Yeah, why don't you get us started with page 1?
On page 1, we start with Piper's shrieking voice going, Paige! And Leo's like, dude, you don't have to always just call for her. I can help too. And she's like, no, I want answers. And he's like, well, Paige won't know anything. And she's like, no, Paige is going to take you to the up there. And we're going to get some answers from the elders as to why my precious daughter Melinda has powers. Is that where it ends? Oh, yeah. And Paige says that thing you call, Extreme Makeover Restaurant Edition.
Tell us why that's significant, Sean.
Well, it, for one, references the show Extreme Makeover World Edition, but it also references the episode from Charmed. Ooh, Extreme Makeover. No, what was it called? I remember it was
Home
World
Edition.
Home
Edition was the show, yeah.
Okay.
With Ty. I'm Ty. I'm the cool Metro Man. Okay. I'm just looking at this restaurant. Is this really the same one that she looked at with the glass ceiling and stuff? I don't know.
It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, because that one had this like sprawling exterior with like the fountain and stuff. And this one just looks like a little rundown McDonald's.
Right. But yeah, she orbs in because I love how Piper's like covering Melinda's ears this whole time too. Like, why is she covering her ears? Don't let her hear. Like, okay. And then the second page is just a single image of Melinda in her high chair going tee-hee-hee, and she's orbing tables and chairs on top of each other and stacking them. Yes.
How poltergeist.
Is very poltergeist. But yeah, this is the issue, in case you don't know, that we figure out the explanation for Melinda's orbing, which I hate. But our power play is happening right now. Power play. Power play for the day. Telekinetic orbing. So telekinetic orbing is the ability to move or teleport objects through the use of orbs. It's a combination hybrid power of orbing and telekinesis. This is stuff that we should all know. This power is possessed by several Whitelighter witches. This power was first seen by Paige Matthews and was considered a very rare power at the time, but later became very common with the revelation and birth of more Whitelighter witches. So Paige initially would have to activate the power by vocal command. She would have to vocally command objects either by calling out the object or describing it. She can describe what it is. And without a vocal command, the power would fail because she had to speak. That was a very prominent limitation. Wyatt and Chris don't have to do that. Interesting.
That's true.
Additionally, a visual reference, or at least knowledge of something that you can't see, is required for this power to succeed. So, for example, like if there was a locked safe in a room and you didn't know what was in there, she cannot orb them out because she does not know what's in the safe.
Okay. Very Nightcrawler, because he has to see where he's teleporting.
Exactly. That's a similarity there. But say she's like, there's something in another room, and you know what it looks like, and you know the room, then you can orbit to yourself because you have a knowledge of the items you're looking for and the room they're in.
Interesting.
So, like in the show, like she orbed the Book of Shadows from the attic to downstairs where she was because she was very familiar with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We would see Paige teleport objects first. When she first learned, she would call for object directly to herself, and then would often like throw it off to somebody else. Eventually, she would learn to skip that step and instead move things mid-air or from one spot directly to another spot, and skipping her, like touching it first or something.
Okay.
A user cannot orb things great distances. It can usually only orb things within the same room or vicinity, so that's another limitation. We will see Paige develop this power further in the comics. I'm not going to tell you how.
Ooh.
But she does get more advanced in certain things. But it is pretty funny how I talked about how Wyatt, Chris, and now Melinda are like already well advanced above her.
Yeah.
In infancy. And we have seen Darklighter witches one time. Plur, parallel Chris, used like the black orbing version.
Blorbing.
The Blorbing, thank you. So there is.
I know my place.
Yes. So there is an evil counterpart, but more on that. Like, I want to talk about Chris later, but I'll do that later when we get to the end. So, but yeah, there you go. Telekinetic orbing. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Tell us about page 3.
Page 3. So we see Melinda is orbiting a bunch of shit, and Paige is like, yeah, that's Paige. Paige is like, what the fuck? Is she doing that? And Piper's like, yeah. And then Paige is like, but Leo's wings were clipped. He was human when she was conceived.
Thank you.
She's like, yeah. So then she's like, wait, does that mean that Piper, you didn't? Because she thinks, did you cheat on Leo with a Whitelighter?
Did you sleep with another Whitelighter?
Oh my god, that's so common to sleep with multiple Whitelighters.
The scandal.
Scandalo. And then Leo comes in and he's basically like, well, I guess it could make sense because I was a Whitelighter longer than I was human, so it's probably in my DNA. Kevin, this just makes sense, and it's not stupid at all like in Star Wars when they explain metachlorians are what causes the Force.
I would have been so pissed if that was the reason. Oh my god. Because even that's what you even said when you even said in the episode, like maybe it's in his sperm. I was like, maybe it is.
His sperm are Whitelighters. And Piper says, I want to know for sure. So she sends Paige and Leo up to the upstairs.
Yeah. I love how Melinda's in the background going, bang, bang, bang. Like, with a wooden spoon. She's like a wooden spoon in like a pot. Like, what is she doing?
She's the worst child ever.
I was like, why are you so obnoxious, kid? Get out of here. But yeah, so they orb, and the next page, we see Paige orb to the upstairs. You know what's actually interesting? This is the first time Paige has ever orbed to the upstairs that we see.
Oh, so her powers are already growing.
Yeah, or she's a more like accomplished white lighter. She is actually having charges and doing white lighter things. Because in the show, we just see her like, let's go to the Golden Gate Bridge and convene there, even though this has nothing to do with you elders, but whatever.
Hmm.
We meet Zanku up here too, because this is like random. But yeah, they're in the up theirs. And who do we see? This piece of shit, Kyle Brody.
Kyle.
Kyle. Yeah. And we found out he's become the bigger piece of shit he was always meant to be, and he is now an elder. It makes sense that he would be an elder. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like white lighter for one day and then became an elder right away, because that's just what they're looking for. But yeah, he's like, hello, Paige. It's been a while.
Why does he talk like that?
I don't know.
It's been a while.
You know, it's Kyle. You know, he does stuff like that. But yeah, and Paige is like, when did you become an elder? He's like, not that long ago. It's only one of many of the changes up here, up there. Yeah, but and then we see like this golden like structure with more elders, and yeah.
I do have to say, this artist, I feel like, is better at drawing the guys than the girls, because I can clearly tell this is Kyle and Leo. I like the art.
Oh yeah, I see Leo a lot in these, you know, and
Yeah.
Kyle looks just like him too. So,
So on the next page, we have Leo like, Melinda can orb, which is impossible because I fucked Piper after I was a white lighter. I was a normal guy, so she shouldn't have had another half white lighter baby. And then Kyle's like, well, you were a white lighter longer than you were human. There's bound to be some transfer. I know. I do like how it's basically exactly what Leo said earlier. I think Leo said that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And then Paige is like, see, it's normal. It's just what you thought. And Leo's like, yeah, everything's cool. Except he's lying, you fucking liar. He's like, and then he gets really mad. He's like, the elders clipped my wings. They stripped me of my powers. I can't just pass them on to my children. And then,
I do love this because it seems so abrupt. Because it's like the panel before, he's just like, except he's lying, like, ooh. And there's like, rage face!
From 0 to 100. And like, Leo's not the type to ever get this mad. So it's just out of character for him too.
Except for like in season 6 and 7, he was a little in that dicey zone. But still, this is unusual.
That's true. And then we have, I think it's his hand on his head, but it looks like it's like Piper's hand. I don't know. It looks awkward. But he's like, not unless the elders made it happen for some reason. But Kevin, why would the elders do that? They always are just very stand-up people.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Yeah, here we go. We're going to find out the truth.
Yes.
Anyway, next page, we see Piper and Phoebe at the restaurant. And Phoebe, this panel of her, she looks like Gail Weathers, bodybuilder, wrestler.
Yeah. Except for in the bottom right. You're welcome.
All right, let's get to that. Okay, so they're Piper and Phoebe are in the restaurant trying to unstack all these chairs that Melinda orbed together on top of each other, and then the chairs start to fall, and Piper freezes them. But this Phoebe face, what is this Phoebe face? It looks like she smelled a really bad fart.
Oh, what's the smell?
But yeah, they're just talking about Melinda's powers and stuff, and All right, go ahead.
All right, the scene continues on the next page. Piper's basically like, it's not like I haven't been through this before because our other two kids have the same powers, but she's like, I was just hoping to get the restaurant running first. And Phoebe's kind of like, well, as we learned, magic just kind of happens. Like, you can't control it. And then Piper's kind of like, I expected her to maybe freeze things and be a witch, but not a white lighter. And Phoebe tells her this is uncharted territory. Like, we don't know what can happen. And they get everything back in shape. And then a very, like, muscular Piper is like, ugh, sigh. Because the chairs start flying around again because Melinda's still using her powers.
Yeah, but don't you think it's funny how like she's opening a restaurant in here, but then Holly is opening a restaurant in real life? Isn't that
Oh, I didn't
crazy?
know she is. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
she and her husband are working on opening a restaurant, so she's a little restaurateur, and like, oh, it's like art imitating life, life imitating art. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Uh, so it's cool. Okay. So the next page. Oh, here we go. All right. So we have Kyle and Leo and Paige talking in some weird like spaceship viewing area. He's like, "Yeah, Leo, you're right. it's not you. It's me. It's us." um, the elders gifted Melinda those powers. I'm like, what?
What?
WTF my heart. And then Paige is like, why? And Kyle's like, so she would be twice blessed, the child of a charmed one and a white lighter. And Paige is like, you can't be serious. So I love how Paige is just reacting like, oh, and Leo looks like shocked and appalled.
Yeah.
And then we see the bottom panel has like a little cutaway to Piper with
A drag
with
queen.
a drag queen with a baby. Why does this baby have so much makeup on?
Yeah, right? She has like a full lipstick geesh going on, and the other two kids look like reptilians.
Yeah, they do. We don't have full facial features because we're like anthropomorphous. I don't think that's a word. But anyway, Piper's there with Chris and Wyatt and Melinda, and we go. Oh, Kyle's explaining what they did. He says, the elders hoped to alter the prophecy of the twice blessed, that the firstborn children of the family would inherit the power of three, making Wyatt, Chris, and Melinda an even more powerful force of good than the charmed ones. Okay, so what are you feeling here?
I have very mixed feelings on this. It's kind of been on my mind today because like it's kind of fucked that the elders just kind of made this happen without consulting with the parents. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, it makes sense because these are some really powerful children. So it makes sense that they'd want to take advantage of that and like set up a new trio to help save the future.
Yeah, I mean, as fans, charmed people, they do have a certain connection to the kids of Piper and Leo, because we knew two of them, and we saw Melinda. So those three have always been kind of very ingrained in people's minds, and I think this is more of a kind of a fan service moment where they're going to make them the new power of three. This is what a spin-off would be. La 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 la. Which, yes, I mean, there's a fan of me that likes that. However, lore-wise, I don't know if it. The reason why they did this, I think, because in actuality, it probably would have been the firstborn of all of them. So it would have been PJ, Wyatt, and I guess the twins. They have to fight over it. Because there's the firstborns of each of the charmed ones. So I wonder if that's how it would have been. So this was to make sure that it went to those three versus being spread out around across the cousins.
That's true. Yeah, because this kind of says, fuck you to the other. I'm very cussy today. I don't know why. But this says fuck you to, like, Paige and Phoebe because basically, like, it's erasing their legacy from it and giving everything over to Piper in a way.
Mm-hmm. So I have thoughts about this at the end when we get into canonical. But yeah, I mean, I get it, but I hate it. Well, I hate it because it's the elders. Like, shut the fuck up, elders. This is not you. This is not your power. This is not what your point is. So I was just mad, and this is why it bothers me more than anything. Like the first one was mad because it shouldn't happen, and now they explained it, and this is your reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's shitty.
All right, so back in the up there's, we have Leo like kind of freaking out, like, no, I won't let this happen. Piper's gonna kill me. I won't let it happen. And Kyle, he's just like, what's done is done, Leo. Like, it can't be undone. It's like, it's gonna happen. And Paige is getting mad. She's like hell, it can't be undone. The elders make up the rules as they go along. And then we have, why did he just forget his name? Kyle. We have Kyle. It's been a day. We have Kyle basically saying like, well, we kind of got rid of the old council because they were a little too like hands-on. So we have a new council and we're just here to like not interfere. We're more like watchers now instead. So Paige, for obvious reasons, like, I'll believe it when I see it. And Leo asks, are my children going to be like targets now? Are you making them targets of the whole underworld because they're the new charmed ones?
So, yeah. So Kyle said they like fired all the other elders.
Yeah.
All the elders we hated, and they're like, we're much better now, I promise. And that's why, yeah, a Page like, I believe it when I see it, because I'm like, yeah, this is like, be suspicious. I don't trust him. I don't know. Like, you were a crappy person. You're probably a crappy elder too. That's why elders are crappy.
He shouldn't have even been a white lighter because he did a lot of questionable things, and now he's an elder. Like, WTF?
Well, that's why it makes sense. He would be.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised. I mean, that's what I thought. Like, he probably was promoted directly to elder right away. He's like white lighter for be trained to get the training done, and then like, okay, you're an elder. That's what we really wanted you to be to begin with, because you were born to be an elder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking too, because like, if they're the charmed ones, yeah, they would be under more threat. Like witches in general, magical witches in general are under threat from demons and stuff, but the charmed ones makes them even more. Although I don't think they get it till after they die either. Well, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But then the next page has Kyle talking to Leah some more. Your children are safe, you know. The former elders had their memories wiped, so they don't know anything about this. He's like, I'm the only one. Like Tigger. I'm the only one. He's like, yeah, I'm the liaison between the charmed ones and their white lighter, and I want to make you the charmed one's white lighter again. What do you say? And Leo's like, hands on my head. Oh my goodness gracious. He's like, but I'm already teaching at magic school. I'm doing so much. He's like, that's not enough. Rennek is back. And I'm like, oh, gasp, who's Rennek?
Yeah. And this picture of Kyle, like, they really got that cursed myth like smolder down. I love this picture of him right here.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. This almost seems anticlimactic because we just like, you like that?
Yeah.
Because we're just getting like, oh yeah, all the elders, we got rid of them and like we erased their memories. So like, I imagine, are they just like playing soccer somewhere up in the up there's? Like, where are they with no memories?
They're in the dementia ward of the up there's.
Yeah. So I don't know. This isn't sitting well with me so far. It just seems too easy in a way.
Yeah.
Okay. I liked your face right there because it kind of told me like, oh, bitch, there's going to be more. You're going to find out more.
I know.
I know how to read you. All right. Next page. Paige says, Rennek, who's that? And Leo says, a Darklighter. I hunted him for centuries. He killed more magic practitioners than anyone else. And I hunted him for so long that I finally killed him in the early 90s. And as a reward, I was given the much coveted reward of being the white lighter for the charmed ones. And then Kyle says, "It seems that reward might have been premature. He's still alive." And he's already killed a lot of people in the past few months.
I have questions.
I have answers. I'm a charmed expert.
Oh, okay. So tell me, this shot of them, this is Leo fighting Rennek. Well, remember I told you that Darklighter we saw back a couple issues ago? Like, this is Rennek. He's going to come up later.
Yeah.
Look at that. But this is supposed to be Leo and Rennek fighting eons ago. What powers are they using?
Well, also, like, he's dressed like Cass from Supernatural. That doesn't really strike me as a
really
Leo-like outfit. Yeah. I don't know. Have we seen these powers before?
Well, this is me trying to, like, make it make sense in my brain. So, I'm guessing Leo is doing some kind of photokinesis. That's where their light magic, when they can do these light effects. And usually they're very passive. This is turning into an offensive power in a way. And it looks very similar to his beams from Someone to Watch Over Me, when he started healing Piper and Phoebe from the dead after he became an avatar. Kind of looks like that, except yellow. And I'm guessing we've never seen a Darklighter use this power before, but I guess it's just kind of an energy beam. He's just channeling his own energy into a beam of sorts.
That makes sense.
This is probably one of the more threatening Darklighters we've seen on this show, at least because Alec was pretty threatening, but this is one that's kind of like, he knows his stuff. He knows what's up, you know?
Yeah.
But
what was the fan reaction finding out, like, that we now have a reason for Leo to have been assigned to the Charmed Ones? Was this, like, really cool, or was it kind of like, eh?
You know, I don't even know. Because I read these on my own. I didn't really hear much about the audience reaction to these. So, I guess people think it's cool. Like, this is before the Charmed Ones. This is what happened before. My only gripe is Leo was a pacifist. Why would he be vanquishing people?
Yeah, but we've seen when Leo's pushed to, like,
the
edge, he does fight back. So I don't think this is completely out of character for him.
Right. I always wonder what made him, because he went from like this really like tough fighter, which we have seen, but then he comes back in season 1 like, doodly-doo, hey, cool, you guys, I'm so nice. I don't do that. I don't hurt people.
That's true. Yeah, I would want to see, like, what happened right before he met the Charmed Ones to make him not want to do it anymore.
Was there something that really shook him to the core that made him want to stop fighting altogether, like cold turkey, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Come to think of it, all white lighters were pacifists. They were forcibly pacifists because the elders put that restriction on them. They weren't allowed to kill.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting because he did kill Rennek. So you would think the elders would have, like, punished him or something, but instead they gave him a reward.
And isn't that very... Because it's funny because the elders didn't seem to have that restriction on themselves. They could kill anytime they wanted.
Yeah.
Like, well, we told Whitelers not to kill, but because he did this and he was our enemy, he's rewarded. It's very much the same thing they do with Kyle.
Yeah. I just love the elders. They're so consistent and they're such good people, Kevin. They're great.
Crazy. But anyway, was this the double spread?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the double spread. So we see
with Fuck Me Daddy Satan on it.
Fuck Me Daddy Satan. He's still naked. And he's talking to Rennek. And he's like, hey, we got a plan. I don't like this. You know, so Rennek wants to wage war with the vampires. And the naked daddy demon's like, is this wise? Why are we doing this? Rennek is like, I have no intention of waging war. This will be a massacre. I'm like, oh my god, horrible.
Yeah.
And we see him. It's like a wooden crossbow, you know, because stake through the heart type of thing, I guess. And it goes, ka-ting! And then she's like, just like shooting all these vampires, killing them through the heart. And we see an army of demons behind him. And then goes to the next page. This one's kind of cool because it's like there's a bottom panel that leaks into the next page, and we see Rennek shooting his crossbow, vampires being killed, demons flying, demons look like those kind of reminds me of like gargoyles. Actually, this is very
Oh
gargoyles like.
yeah.
Night Sky, the moon, and they're like fighting with him.
On the next page, we see a sexy butt vampire lady with a knife cutting off a demon head, like backhanded. And Rennek shoots at her with an arrow, goes thwop, and she goes, "You missed." And he says, "Wasn't trying to kill you. Not yet." And he has her cornered, it looks like, next to a wall.
Yeah. And so we see her on the wall. She's like, "Why do you attack? We've done you no harm." And he's like, "Yeah, but you upset a friend of mine." And then behind Rennek appears Neena, and she's white now.
Yeah.
She went through her transformation. And she's like, "No, no, Lorna." So the vampire queen has a name, Lorna. And she's like, "I gave you the powers of the source, and you did not vow your allegiance to me. What's up, girl?" And she's like, "I might be willing to discuss this further. Don't kill me." Like, let's talk it out. And then she's like, "I did not travel halfway around the world to talk." And she like kills her with like her vine power, her like plant-based powers. I guess she makes a spike come out on her.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I looked up the Charmed wiki because I was like, I think that's supposed to be Neena, but like at this point, she's not dressed like her. She doesn't look like her. Her hair's not like her. Like,
Yeah. What happened to the frizzy dark hair? Now it's like flowing brown in the breeze. Like, it's different. It's totally different.
And Neena was always wearing she's always wearing like those Daisy Dukes and stuff, and suddenly she's in like full geesh.
Right.
If I were Lorna, I'd be like, "Why don't you go back to Party City where you belong?"
Good one. All right.
You're welcome. All the references.
Uh-huh.
So on the next page, we see we're back in the restaurant, not the manor. Back in the restaurant. Piper is talking to Melinda. She's basically saying, "Sorry, baby. Sorry, mommy yelled at you, but we don't play with knives." And Phoebe's like, "At least you didn't conjure up a dragon." And Piper's like, "Shut the fuck up. Don't give her ideas." And then we see, wait, what's going on here? Oh, Melinda orbs Piper and Phoebe just for funsies. And Piper says, "Weird things have been happening for months. Little things here and there. Not enough to confirm that it was Melinda. But now they know for sure because she's like being very, very obvious with her powers."
Yeah. She's like really like so obnoxious. Like, what is this girl doing? I feel like we need to get her some counseling.
Yeah.
Even Wyatt wasn't this crazy with it just for willy-nilly, He set up an alarm system, and he was
Melinda probably has a really good reason, Kevin. A really good reason.
Yeah, I guess that's true. A really good reason. So we see Melinda orbiting some more. And they're like, "What is going on?" And then Piper's like, "Oh my gosh, I think I know what it is. I hit her binky." So this is her pacifier. She's like, she's like trying to wean her off of it. She's like, she's too old for it. She's like, no, she still wants it. So she gave it back to her, and now she's like much better. So this whole time, Melinda was just like causing a fit because she was bored and she wanted to find her security blanket type of thing.
Yeah.
So I guess it's cute.
I guess.
It's something.
So back in the up there's, so Kyle's basically like, "Leo, take some time to think it over. Why don't you just be a white lighter again?" And Leo's like, "I like being normal. Like, I have a family, I have a wife. Like, if I'm a white lighter, yeah, I'll have powers, but I'm gonna watch my whole family die. Like, that sucks." And Kyle's like, "Leo, Rennek might be up to something major. We could really use your help." And Leo's like, "You'll have all the help you need, but I'm not going to be a white lighter." And Paige is like, well, can't he just like be a white lighter without like fully being a white lighter? Like, give him his magic powers, but don't make him like live forever or whatever. And Kyle's like, no, Paige, it doesn't work like that. And Paige is like, well, what about like dormant powers? Could he tap into like his dormant powers?
Yeah. And the
I
next
can do
page,
voices too.
you can. And the next page has the conversation continuing. He's like, no, this isn't like a binding. This is like, powers here or not here. It's either, you're either a white lighter or you're not. So he's like, Leo, I won't make this offer again. You better join us. And he's like, sorry, bro. No, my family is more important. And so he's like, well, when you die this time, it will be for good. You won't be made white lighter again. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. Duh, I know that.
That's the point.
Like, stop telling that. He was like, I wouldn't have it any other way.
So back at the manor, it looks like it's night.
I love the side shot of it.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, it's different, and all the lights are on. It's nighttime. I like it. So we see Piper and Leo are over Melinda's crib, and Piper says she looks just like an angel when she's sleeping. Well, half angel. And Leo says, are you sure you're okay with this? And Piper, I don't know. She's like, yeah, I trust Kyle to keep the secret. I'm like, why? You don't even like him. And why would you trust him to keep the secret? And Leo's like, that's not what I meant. And she's like, I know. And this also, like, Piper's grown a lot because she's like, it's a better question for you. Are you okay with this? Because you're the one making this choice. Whoa.
Don't you love this bottom middle panel, though, where, like, Leo's, like, touching Piper's boobs?
Yeah. They look like they're drunk, too. Like, it looks like she's walking him to the room drunk.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just going to cup a feel while we're walking. It's fine. Yeah, her boobs are real big in these comics, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, next page, he's like, I'm mad at the elders for putting the kids in danger. He's like, and Piper's like, yeah, but we're kind of used to being mad at the elders. I'm like, yes, we are.
Yeah.
This is nothing new. So, and then they talk about, this choice. He's like, but I'm glad that does really feel like it's my choice this time, because before I kind of was like forced to do it because it was either, you or, it's because he was kind of like in a daze. I think when he did the 7-Year Witch, he was still kind of in this whole, like, he's like, he chooses his family, but it didn't feel like he was wholly there. Now he's like, I'm secure in my family. I'm secure in my life. I don't want it to change. Leave me alone forever. So, and he does. He gives Piper this, like, very Leo look. Like, I've seen this look countless times in the series. Like, this is him to a T.
Yeah, this artist did their homework.
Yeah. And Piper's like, but what if we need to protect the kids? And we see them cuddling on the bottom panel.
Aww.
He's like, then it's a good thing their mom and their aunts are the most powerful witches in the world. So cute.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
This is a You Look Familiar moment.
Oh!
It's funny, she's so familiar to me, though. Reminds me of this old stray that used to hang outside my loft.
Familiars. That's what I'm looking for.
Have we met before? You look familiar.
Does this look familiar to you at all?
No.
This is definitely directly inspired from I Dream of Phoebe when, Leo and Piper were, like, sleeping together on the couch. And, this is the same episode where, like, Greg comes in and sees them together and runs out. And Piper, like, dies and floats in and he heals her. Do you remember that episode? This is exactly taken. Even the way his fingers are, like, curved are exactly how it was in that episode. So it's gonna be fun to put a side by side of those together because it's real close.
Yeah, I love the side by sides.
I know my stuff, don't I? So
yes, girl.
I'm very proud when I notice these things. So cool.
Okay, so on the last page, we see Neena sitting all, like, open-legged in a chair with, like, a great stomach. Like, get it, mama. And she's like, with the vampires no longer concerned, I think the demons are ready to move on with my plan. Then we have Rennek saying, having them destroy a nest of vampires was good practice, but I do wonder. What, Rennek? Oh, nothing. Just what would the demons do if they knew the truth about who they're working for? That's right, Neena, or Victoria, or Isabel. I know what you really are. And then Neena goes, Que escándalo!
I know who you are.
So, who's Victoria, though?
We don't know.
Okay.
These are just other names that she used. So,
Gotcha.
because keep in mind that most people at this point have not had our little bonus story, so they don't know who Isabel is. These are just names that she used in the past. That bonus story was added after these have already been released.
Oh, okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
So I guess what you're saying is if you're not listening to our podcast, you're only getting half the story.
See?
I don't know why I'm all RuPaul today.
So, what are your thoughts on this issue?
Well, I thought it was okay. Like, it does push the story ahead in an interesting way, but I don't know. I think it could have been written better to make it more compelling to get there.
So, yeah. So here it is. This is the issue with the explanation for Melinda's powers. Fucking elders! Get out of here with this garbage! I hate it. I mean, I suppose it is typical charmed fashion for the elders to royally piss you off. Because that's what they do in the show. But I could have done it without it in my comics. I didn't need the elders to make me even madder again.
Yeah.
But there was some funny banter. I did appreciate Paige like talking about Piper sleeping with other whitelighters, and I felt very seen by Paige and Leo's anger and distrust of Kyle. I'm like, yes, this is what I'm. This is like you are me in this comic right now. We do see Neena has a new partner in Rennek, and this is the Darklighter who means business. But I just don't know because I think this issue. I don't know if there's enough in this issue to thrill me and excite me.
Yeah.
Because we're starting a new story arc, so I guess it has to be lighter a little bit and a little bit fluffier, set the groundwork for what's to come, and it does do that. But I'm mostly just aggravated more than anything. I'm not really interested in it.
You know what I think would have been interesting, and I guess I'm kind of stealing this a little from X-Men, but it's what I know, it's what I do, it's what I live for. I think it would have been more interesting if they said something along the lines of Leo's whitelighter energy, even though it was dispelled from him, even though his wings were clipped, that energy found its way to Melinda. Like it was drawn to her as the next child.
Right,
Maybe
because
something
his energy could have left him, his powers could have been left it, but maybe they found a new, still in the ether somewhere.
Yeah,
they could have explained it so much better.
Yeah, because the way it comes down is the elders gave the powers to her, but then we made all the elders forget, so only I know. And it's kind of I don't know, it just sits weird. It doesn't seem like this is what would have happened, I guess.
Right.
Even though we're in a fictional world, and
it feels like a cop out.
Yeah.
Like I need a reason. I need a reason fast. What can it be? Oh, the elders do shit. Let's give it to them.
But then make them all forget about it.
Yeah. So, all right. Put that in my canonical hat.
Canonical.
I have things. The audacity. We're already on the subject. The audacity for the elders to control who inherits the power of 3. How the hell do you fabricate and control the rules of prophecy? This is not your department. This is not your realm. This is Angel of Destiny stuff. Why are you elders messing with this? And who are you to change that? What gives you that power? This has nothing to do with you. I'm like, I scream. I get mad. Although, one good thing from this piece of lore that I do like, I guess I like it because it makes things make sense a little bit in my head about certain other things. So, you know how Baby Chris, we see him in Kimberly Volume 2 with the Candyland and stuff, orbiting things. He's orbiting wide around. So he has telekinetic orbiting too. However, adult Chris did not have telekinetic orbing.
Oh.
He only had straight telekinesis, like Proust style telekinesis. He could orb himself, but not telekinetically orb. So the fact that the elders did this, so that means that they're the reason that Chris can telekinetically orb too.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because it didn't compute in my head, like, why can baby Chris do it but adult Chris can't? So it makes sense. It's like the elders changed the destiny so that the baby did it, which means they would have had to do this after Chris was born already. So they already had this plan in motion.
Okay, that's making it better.
It does help me a little bit make sense in my head. And I'm going to believe that I think that was Paul Ruditis trying to fix that plot hole.
Yeah.
So that's only saving grace a little bit for me because I put some of that in context. We talked about how Leo and Rennek being the pacifists. I'm going to put that as a canonical error too. That I'm going to count that as a canonical thing just because I think he should have been forcibly pacifist, at least at that time. But then again, thinking of Charmed and lore, you could always rationalize it somehow. Anytime the elders are involved, like they have no rules on themselves. So
yeah, and I feel like this is an extreme situation since Rennek was killing so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, Leo stepped out of line, but he saved so many future people.
Right. So yeah. So there we go. So tips for future white letters.
Oh, we're really just messengers? Guides? Think of us as guardian angels for good witches.
Tips for future white letters.
I was out being a force of good in the universe.
What's the moral of the story?
I would say, since this is very Leo-centric, I'm going to go with something from his point of view. And it's like, don't let people pressure you. Like, be steadfast in your beliefs. And if it's going to get in the way of your friends and family, it's not right for you. I think that's a rule that a lot of people in, like, cults and religions need to stand by. Like, if you're with a group that's like, you can't see your brother because he's gay or anything like that, then it's not for you. And I like how Leo stood to his ground.
Yes, that is a beautiful moment. Yes, thank you. My tip is more about an in-lore tip, but still true nonetheless. I put, eradicate elders out of power so that you can live your life in peace. And there may be some of that happening.
What? Something you've already told me before? What?
Well, it's a little bit different. It's not what you expect,
Okay.
but things happen. We'll see. Next one is ooh, onomatopoeia. What's your favorite one of these word sounds?
You know what's funny? I'm going to admit this to you. The first time I read through this, I was like, there's really not a lot of word sounds. And then as we were rereading
There's
your
ton.
double spread, I'm like, this whole
There's a
page is
ton.
word sounds.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite is hurrah. It's
Yeah, I love it.
H-R-A-A-R-R. Hurrah.
I love that. It's like a laugh roar. Beautiful. Mine is ka-ting, ka-ting.
Yeah, that was a close second.
That was when the arrow was coming out, and I also really like it because it's also the name of a shipping of Katara and Aang in Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's the name of their shipping, Katang.
Nice.
So I'm like, oh, but I thought it was clever and cute and fun to say. What is your most valuable panel?
Most valuable. I really like on that same page, Kevin. This double spread is like everything. I just really like seeing these demons and sexy Daddy Satan's back. Like, it's just a really cool panel.
Yeah, very colorful too.
Yeah.
My most valuable panel is Leo's angry face. Because that's how this issue makes me feel. I feel like I am Leo in that moment.
He gets so angry. Like it goes from him rubbing the back of his head to "Ah!"
It cracks me up. It cracks me up too. But yeah, that's me. That was me for most of this issue. So I'm like, I get you, Leo. You get me. We are one. What's the sexiest drawing?
Girl, I already pointed it out, but I love this image of Kyle when he's saying Rennek is back. Like it just looks so much like Kerr Smith and like his little smirky smirk, and it's just a really cute photo. Like I want to lick it, but I know phones are dirty.
Aw, yeah. Get your Zanku action back on over here, Kerr Smith.
Yeah, I want to taste Senku through you.
My sexiest drawing is the vampire queen cutting off the head of a demon. Not that part, but her butt and her boobs are popping. Her hair is flowing. Like, it's hot.
And it's not even a practical way to like kill something.
No,
it works.
Yeah, like it was like she is feeling it. I just picture it being in slow motion, like, you know, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we go. Issue ranking. I'm going to go over all the options again because I've heard that a lot of the listeners don't know their ranking again, so I'm going to go over them real quick. So we have exceptional, which is magically delicious, great, which is pretty witchin', good, a sorcerer's apprentice, bad, which is disenchanting, or horrible, which is vanquishable.
Wow. Well, I think I know what you're going to do. But I'm going to say Sorcerer's Apprentice. I didn't feel incredibly like excited by this episode, but I did feel excited to read more. Like you said, the idea of the three kids being like the next charmed ones, whether we like the way it's happening or not, I think is a cool story element. So yeah, middle of the road, Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, there's some stuff. There's some bones here for the future. But I'm actually going to go with vanquishable this one. I was being nice with when her powers appeared for natural resources. I give it a disenchanting. But this one, we get the reasoning, and it's the elders. I just can't. It makes me too angry. And there's not enough in here to like save it because there's not enough in here to catch me and off put it. So I'm gonna say vanquishable. I did not anticipate having a lot of these, but yeah, I don't like this one.
Fair enough.
Now we're gonna do our P is for poll.
Prue? Piper. You mean it's just you and Prue, huh?
Phoebe? Phoebe, you there?
And a big hello to you too, Penny.
Come on, Patty. The rest is up to them.
Paige. My name is Paige. Another P, imagine that.
P is for poll. So our question for next week is, what power would you have given baby Melinda instead of telekinetic orbing? I mean, it could have literally been anything else.
I have one. I would give her, I'd make it a variation on Piper's power. In the last few years, you're going to find this funny because of who my favorite X-Men is. I've realized I really like ice powers. So I would give her like some sort of ice power where she can like slow down the molecules and turn them into ice, but in like a physical way. So it's similar to Piper, but like cooler.
OMG, that's exactly what I had.
Wow.
I put cryokinesis. Yes, ice powers. Because you're right, it would be the perfect way to pass on the freeze ability. They can still call it freezing in reference to Piper's powers, but in a new way. Plus, this is a power that already existed in the Warren line. Prue's past life had that ice dust that, in the 20s. So she was already freezing stuff. It already is in their family line. So it would be a really good callback to her, too, in bringing this past. So it's really the perfect power for her. It would have been so cool. And, something different with the kids, because I'm trying to think of what all their witch powers would be. So Wyatt's base witch power is projection, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And he can still do his Orbeez and White Letter stuff, but projection would be his witch power. Chris's was straight up telekinesis, so he would be very much like Paige in that way. I guess now that he has this telekinetic orbiting thing. And then Melinda's would have been cryokinesis. I think that would have been a really cool mix of stuff.
Yeah. OMG, we're always on the same page.
That was great. All right, so tell us what's next, Sean.
Oh, Henry is issue number 8. Oh, Henry. And we get this really beautiful picture of Paige. And at first I was like, oh my God, is Paige preggers again? Because we see like she almost has a crystal ball over her stomach and you could see a baby inside the ball with the triquetra behind it. But it actually says here, a homeless pregnant teen gets caught in the crossfire of a Darklighter's attack on a Whitelighter. And Paige steps in to try and save the girl's unborn child. Meanwhile, Neena finally reveals herself to the Charmed Ones, and a battle ensues on the streets of San Francisco, and Piper finds herself in serious danger. This sounds exciting.
Yeah, it does sound exciting. We're going to have some stuff. All right, well, that's it. The end of this episode. Crazy. Where can people follow you, Sean?
Well, you can find me on Marvelous Galaxy of Disney. We're going to have, actually, this Monday is going to be a jam-packed episode since we took an unplanned break last week. Just with all the news that hit last Sunday, I just was not in like a mood to be like, hey, people died and let's talk about happy things. So we took a week off in respect for the victims. And we're going to talk about Strange World. We're going to talk about Disenchanted, a lot of that stuff that came out the past 2 weeks. And you can also find me on Once Upon a Cult. We are on sabbatical, but there's like 89 episodes that you could catch up on.
Right. Amazing. Yeah, and you can find Sean and I at Solving for X, covering the X-Men 90s animated series. How convenient that we just covered Cold Comfort about Iceman, and we ended with this whole ice power lovey-dovey thing. That's cool. You can follow my personal page, KGZ87, or this podcast, Words of the Witches, everywhere except for Twitter, where it's Words of Witches. And so we'll see you next week.
Bye!
Bye! Your destiny still awaits.